Hey, you're listening to Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973. Here's your host, Shane Lakita.
Hey, so what's going on, folks? I'm here in Scarborough, Maine. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take on the world and do everything that's possible for me to be successful moving forward. And I'm inspired and driven and focused by all the folks that are listening to this podcast right now. If you're here, thank you so much for being here. If you're listening on whatever form that you're listening, whether it's in your car, on your headphones, on the treadmill, while you're going for a walk, if you're skiing, cross country, doing a little trailblazing, whatever you're doing, and you've got me in your ears, I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973. I'm your host, Shane Lakita, and we are post-holiday number 2. So we had holiday number 1 with Halloween. We had holiday number 2 with Thanksgiving. Both pretty much built around eating and making choices and going down the road of trying to be able to stay healthy and do the things that are necessary. So I'm hoping that your Thanksgiving was, one, hugely fruitful for yourself, to be able to spend a lot of good time with family and friends, fill your heart and your soul with lots of just really good cheer, and to make sure that that's the most important piece. And it wasn't so driven or focused around what I'm not eating or what I should eat or where I'm at with food or how I'm eating this gravy, I'm feeling guilty or whatever else. So now we're past it, right? We're on the home stretch past the holiday, and we're heading into the Christmas cheer holiday season. And we're in the next throes of what this holiday time frame can be around somebody that struggles with food or weight or diets or whatever. Now here we are, and we're going down the next avenue, the next portion, or the next hill that we have to overcome. Okay? So if Thanksgiving wasn't as successful for you, that's okay. Hey, listen, shake it off. Today's a new day. Focus on the things that can help you to be successful today, right? And as we're heading into the Christmas season, where shopping gets more plentiful, or some people get depressed during Christmas season because maybe they've lost people or they're alone, those kind of things, whatever it is that happens during the Christmas season that might trigger you to go down the road of doing things that you don't normally do or things that you don't normally like to do, just remember, listen, you're worth a lot more than what all the holidays are put together. And that's really what this podcast is going to be about. It's about finding your self-worth. It's about making sure you decide and you can label or list what your worth really is. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because I was sitting there and I was watching TV this morning as I was getting up bright and early to head out to work. And one of the commentators that was on the news show that I was watching was talking about the worth of different millionaires and billionaires and all these rich fat cats that are sitting there making thousands and millions and trillions of dollars, and just the exorbitant amount of money that they have laying around for them to be flying on private jets and doing all these different stuff or whatever. And of course, a hint of jealousy was coming into play with me to say, man, I'd love to be in those shoes, but maybe not. But that's a story for another day. But what they were talking about was the overall worth of these individuals. And so what they did is they listed out some of the top worth people around acting, around athletes, and all the different avenues of people that make lots of money. And they were showing the worth that they actually had with the amount of money that they're worth. So then it got me thinking, right? I was sitting there thinking to myself, how do we list our worth just like we would with them? Is it money that we look at to see what we're worth? No, more often than not, folks like us, our frontline, in the trenches kind of people, find our worth in the things that we do for others, the things that we do for our family. Our worth is measured differently. Not that either way is wrong or right, but it's just measured differently. So my worth may be totally different than somebody like a Julia Roberts or Brad Pitt, right? They make millions and millions and millions of dollars per episode or per movie that they make, and they They label it as being the fact that their net worth is what the assets that they have, including the money that they have and all that stuff. Where I have to park in the space that my worth comes in many different forms other than cash. Because if I was rich, I would be loving the recording you're listening to right now would be 1,000 times better than what it is right now. I'm just recording on a microphone in an office in Scarborough, Maine, that's going through my computer out to the airwaves to you and your listening areas, right? I don't have a lot of editing software. I don't have a lot of padded rooming. I don't have a lot of recording studios or anything like that. So for me, this is my love and this is my passion, and this is one of the things that I'm worth. So again, we're talking about worth, and we're talking about the fact that with some of these actors and athletes and stuff, if they're measured by cash, what are you measured by? What's your worth? That's really the purpose of this podcast. It's a self-reflection one. Think into yourself if you can list out the things that you are most proud of and that you feel you're worth. It's a really difficult project to do, but I did it. And I sat down and I wrote down the things that I'm most proud of and that I feel like I'm bringing value to the table. And if you don't think you're bringing any value to the table, or if you're thinking that you're at a place where you're not really worth much, well, now you're getting to the root cause of some of the issues that we have with things like eating disorders, or that we're overweight, or we're feeling down and depressed and we eat to curb those feelings and those kind of things. So now you're getting into the nitty gritty somewhat of the reasons why we are the way that we are and the inequities that we have with the deficiencies that we have with our own self-worth. And here we are trying to be able to figure out to ourselves, how do I pave a road of success for myself moving down the road versus just sitting there trying to be able to wing it and be able to do the things that are necessary, right? So if I'm sitting there trying to pave a road of success, but I don't feel that I'm worth anything, then that road of success will never be successful. Because if I feel that my worth is down in the dumps and I'm not worth anything, then what's the real reason I'm trying to be able to do something? Is it because I want to look good for somebody else? Is it because I want to have financial status like my buddies down the road? Is it because I want to be swole like my buddy that's going to the gym 7 days a week? Whatever it is, you're doing it for others versus yourself. So the first part of the exercise of the reflection of this podcast is take a piece of paper and sit down and reflect. Take no more than 10 minutes of time. It's all it takes. It's all it took me this morning that I sat down and I wrote down on the top of the paper, what am I worth and what am I most proud of? That's it. Just list those items. Put them on the top of your paper and just put a line underneath it, and then you can go through and be able to list out some of the items that you're most proud of. Now listen, like I said, if you don't have a lot of things that you're very proud of, or you don't feel that you're worth very much, or you don't bring a lot of value to the table, really dig deep. Because I guarantee you, even though you may think that way, and even though you may think the people's perception of you around you and that are looking at you may be that way, I guarantee you that there are some items that you bring to the table that are valuable, that are enriching, that are worthy, that are all the different descriptors and adjectives that you could use that can help to build your personal worth and where you're at and what you're trying to be able to accomplish. So some of the things that I wrote down, it's almost like the thankful list that we did on Thanksgiving, but this is more about your own personal journey and where you're at, and you can really get to the root cause of a lot of things by doing this. If you list out all the things that you're most proud of, or that you bring worth to the table or value to the table, you're going to find out your strong points. And you're also going to, just by reflecting, find out what areas that you have gaps in. What are your areas of opportunity? How are you making sure that you're diving into all those gaps and those strengths and using those to your advantage? But just by doing this exercise for 10 minutes, it may only take 5 minutes or even 3 minutes, whatever it takes, but take the time to do it. Because I felt that it was so worth it when I stepped away from my pen and my paper, and I stepped away and I said, okay, here I am, not feeling all that great about things, even though I am now, to be honest, on a personal journey that I'm on right now. I'm 5 days straight of tracking my foods, doing the things that are necessary, going to the gym 3 out of those 5, getting some steps in, doing some ab exercises, those kind of things. I feel like I'm getting back on track of a consistent routine. So I just wanted to share that with you because I know some of you know that at one time I was down 105 pounds and now I'm only down 75. So there's a 30-pound difference in between my lowest to where I'm at right now. But I feel like I've been reeling. I've been kind of struggling to get to where I've got to get to. I've used the podcast to keep me, consistent and kind of steady in the ship. Because normally, if I had a 30-pound difference before, it would have led to about a 90-pound difference because I would have just kept going down the road of eating poorly, doing bad things, making bad decisions, and just getting right back to where I was before. But you guys have helped me through that. Okay, so that's the first little side note. Now, as I'm sitting there and I'm writing these things down to say, what is Shane's worth? What is Shane's value that he brings to the table? So some items that came out that I was reflecting on was, I'm valuable to my family. Okay, I'm a good dad. I'm a faithful husband. I am dedicated. I'm motivated towards making a better life for my family. And I support and defend and I fight for my family and all those things. Okay, so that was the number one, first and foremost, as value that I bring to the table. Things that I do by giving to my family and doing the things to be able to set us up for success, whether it's my retirement fund, whether it's college fund, whether it's Christmas time to be able to really dig in, to be able to give back to the family, whether it's just going out and volunteering with my family. So that's my number 2. Philanthropic ways that I try to do things for others, give back to others, whether it's donations, whether it's volunteering my time, whether it's volunteering finances, whether it's doing whatever, is giving back to others. That's worth to me. That's value. And sometimes I do it just to be able to do it. And when people ask me the question, how do you find the time to do it, blah, 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 and then I play it off. I always slough it off of being like, oh, it's just something that I do. Well, hold on. Why is it just something that you do? Why can't you park there for a second and say, damn it, be proud of what you do. Be proud of the value that you bring to the table for society, for other people, for those less fortunate, for your friends, your family, all those things. Top 2 items, family and volunteering and philanthropic views on things, okay? Those are my top 2 worths. There's many other little ones that I put in there, but it was really hard for me to dig into some other items other than those 2, because guess what? All of it is about giving back to others versus what's my own self-worth for me. That was a hard thing to be able to try to navigate my brain into going, I'm really proud of what I do for others, but what am I proud of that I do for myself? And so I had to dig deep and I had to really think about it. So I had my 1, 2, and 3 line items were all others, the giving to others and doing for others, and really proud of that. And that's the value and worth. But what worth do I bring for me? And so then I started to dig into the podcast and the blog and the 2 Kitchen Tables video cast and No Finish Line Nation and all those things. And all those are things for others. But really, when you think about it in one sense, one form or fashion, or however you look at it, I'm doing that for myself. I am investing in myself by doing all those things. Yes, there's a end product that it kind of gives back to others and people can listen to my views or thoughts or communicate or talk, or I can help support or be able to do all that stuff is great. Those are end products. The beginning product of it all is that it's all investing in myself. When I write a blog entry or I write a CoffeeTalk post, it doesn't necessarily, I don't write it with the intent of I'm going to help everybody else. I write it with the intent of how do I get my mind in the right place at the right time and get it going the right direction, align it so that it's going a straight path to being able to be successful. I'm doing that for me. So I'm valuable to me at that moment because I'm investing in myself. If I just got done with my whole master's program about a year and a quarter ago. So I got a master's degree. Okay, great. Big piece of paper. But that was an investment in me because I wanted to invest in myself. Education, studying, fortitude, dedication, making sure that I could get through it. Proving to myself a guy in my mid 40s to be able to go still continue for my master's degree, although financial burdens are huge with student loans. But I did it and I focused on it and I worked on myself. I worked on me. So my value to myself is I dedicated that time and that energy in myself to be a better version of me. So I'm valuable to me. I bring value to the table. And I had to really dig in deep to think about that. So that's what I want you to do. If you could take a piece of paper with a pen, take a few moments, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, think about what value do you bring to the table for not only life in general, right? Those are big ones. Those are important. I want you to celebrate in those. I want you to think about those. I want you to embrace the things that you do really well. Absolutely. Don't belittle them because it's doing for others, because those are really important. You do need to give to others to be able to invest in you. It's a necessity of life. But at the end of the day, I want you to keep on going through your list, and I want you to then say, what am I investing in me? What am I doing to invest in me? Is it meetings you're going to? Great. Are you consistent with those meetings? Awesome. If you are, even if you're struggling and you're flailing and you're going down the road of gaining weight or not losing the way you want to, but you're still going to meetings and you're still being part of that community that you love being a part of, where you're investing in others and you're having a good time and you're being able to continue to push forward, even if you're struggling mentally with your health journey, then good. That's value. That is a valuable asset. Write it down. Is it gym time? So maybe you're not really losing the way you want to, but you're still consistently going to the gym. You're still making the investment. You're still going out there. You're getting on the treadmill. You're lifting some weights. You're doing some abs. You're doing whatever. You're still going back. Maybe not as often as you'd like to, but you're still going back to the gym, and you're not just paying for the membership and not going. So maybe that's another valuable asset that you have because you're still continuing to invest in yourself. Write it down. Okay? What about eating and choices that you make with foods? If you're planning out your dinner, or you're planning out your meals, and you're going out with friends, you're going out with family, you're going out with all the people that you care about, and what are you doing? You're checking out the menu, you're looking at it to say, what are some of the options that I might have? And you're not letting it overwhelm you, but you're still making smart decisions. Or when you go to order an adult cocktail and you order a clear liquor and maybe some diet soda, or something to be able to incorporate a small decision, you're still investing in yourself. Write that down, because you're bringing value to yourself by doing every one of those things. Don't forget about the little things that you do for yourself, because you do bring value. And guess what that does? It adds to your overall worth. Right? Worth isn't just about the finances, like I opened with the fact that we're looking at actors and athletes and all these people with millions and trillions of dollars. Worth is about what you bring to the table that adds value to you, your family, your friends, and society in general. That's what worth is. And I guarantee you, if you list all these things out, by the end of that list of what you're writing it down, and you have to dig deep sometimes. Like I said, you got to dig deep. It took me a while to be able to understand the concept of digging a little deeper than my surface level stuff. But once you do and you list it out, it's going to put you in a 10 times better mood by thinking to yourself, damn, you know what? I should be proud of myself. I do a lot. I do a lot of things for others. I do a lot of things for myself. I do a lot of things for, my family, friends, society. I give back. I volunteer. I do whatever it is that you have listed on that piece of paper. Be proud of what you've listed on that piece of paper. Because when you think about what you're worth and you think about what value you're bringing to the table, we don't think about it as deep as what we could. And we don't celebrate in those things because it's just normal. We just normally do it. We're just in that place. And guess what happens? All the things that you're doing that are good, that bring value and worth, are outshadowed or outnumbered by the amount of things that we are beating ourselves up with every single day. We think to ourselves, I'm fat, I'm not feeling good, I'm not eating right, I'm not being a good dad right now, I'm not supporting my family the way I need to, I'm not making enough money, I'm not investing in the savings account, I'm not paying off the credit cards, I'm not doing all those things. So we get all this noise that starts to be able to overwhelm us with the fact that at the end of the day, the little things that we're doing on the back end are more important than any of those items. Any of them. But we forget to celebrate in those. We forget to park there. We forget to look at those and reflect on those and just get in the moment or the space of going, hey, you know what? I really am a lot better than what I think I am. I'm worth a lot more than what I might really think I am at the end of the day. When you get up in the morning, do you look at yourself and say, what am I worth today? No. You get up in the morning and you look at yourself and say, man, you're either having a good hair day or a bad hair day, or your clothes aren't fitting right, or you're looking at yourself going, man, I feel fat in the mirror today. I don't feel good, blah, blah, blah. You got the winter blues going on. You got the cold weather. Maybe it's raining outside and you're just not feeling it. But if you look at this list and you take this list that you're making today of what I'm worth and what value I bring to the table, and you put it next to whatever area that you're at the beginning of the day, if you're blow drying your hair, or if it's in the bathroom, or you want to tape it on your mirror in the bedroom, or whatever, wherever you've got to go to get ready to kick off your day and move the right direction, that is your moment that you can look at that list and say, okay, you know what? I'm worth a lot more than what I think I am right now. I feel a lot stronger than what I really feel, if you know what I'm saying. It's all mental. We're looking at the fact that I don't feel like I'm up to it today. I don't feel like I'm as sexy as I might want to feel. I don't feel like I've hit the gym as much as I want to, or whatever. But at the end of the day, you're still moving the right direction. You're still maintaining. You're still doing all the things that you have to do to be able to continue to push forward and do everything and accomplish everything you want to accomplish. You got to think about these things because we don't do it enough. And I only share that because I did it this morning, and it was really something that was an eye-opener for me, because I'm proud of myself for the most part of the things that I do. But when I listed out all the things that I do and I invest in myself and I bring value to the table and I'm worth it, and I do these things because I know that I'm worth it, but I don't feel like I'm worth it. And these things I need to lean in on at those times when I'm not feeling like I'm worth anything. And mental health is one thing when we get into the place of depression and those kind of things. And I get all that. And I'm not a doctor and I'm not a professional. And to be honest with you, you probably should go get some help if it's really overwhelming you with the depression piece. But at this moment in time, write down the things you're most proud of right now, to be able to do so. So in case you do have to go to a doctor, or in case you do want to go to a therapist, or be able to get somebody to just talk to about your problems or issues or anything like that, to be able to get to the right place, or, because a lot of people suffer from it, then take that list with you and say, here are the things that I'm most proud of what I do. How do I continue to live in that space versus always going down the dark holes that I go down when it comes to depression, right? So do it today. Piece of paper, pen, write it down, top it off with what am I valued, what values do I bring to the table, and what am I most proud of, or am I worth, or what am I worth, those kind of things. Whatever it is you've got to list out there, put it on the top of the paper, and then try to be able to list out 5 to 10 items that you're most proud of. If you can't find those items, dig deep. If you can't dig deep, call somebody else to be able to say, hey, what do you think my worth is? What do you think I bring value to the table? What do I do well? If you have to do that, do that. Write those things down. Put it somewhere where you can access it. You can always tap into it. Because at those times when you're feeling down and you're in the dumps and you're not feeling it, you're not feeling like you're worth anything, those are the times you're going to need it the most. And if you can tap into those and be able to get yourself to a place where you can feel worth it, you could feel like you're valued, you could feel like you're something more or better than what you are, then that's what you really need to be able to accomplish great things in life, okay? So do that for me today. Let me know some of your thoughts if you need to. If you want to post on the podcast itself, or you want to go on No Finish Line Nation, or Instagram me on my message, go onto Instagram, wherever it is that you want to be able to just message me and tell me what you're thinking about what I'm talking about here today. If it was a good experience, or if you had a good exercise, or there was any eye-openers that you had, because it was a lot for me as I shared with you. Have a great day, everybody. Let's go ahead and get ourselves ready to navigate towards the next holiday bump, right? The next big holiday. Because if we're set up for success and we're knowing what we're worth and we're in a positive space, we're going to be more likely to succeed as we head through this whole entire time frame, okay? Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973 podcast. You can also follow him on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Liquidshano 1973. Also, if you get a chance, leave some love on iTunes. Have a great day.